Hey everybody, it's Durger time, and thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Let's Play Wrestling GM. We are still here in our Joshi company in Japan as we're trying to turn it into the next hottest thing, but more specifically, we are trying to go into our roster and try to take our young lion, Mei Izumi, and turn her into the superstar that she deserves to be. We have a long way to go here. I don't know if we're even going to do it during this save, but we're certainly going to give it our best and try. This video, again, is sponsored by the team behind Wrestling GM Sicko Games, so thank you. If you're interested in what you're seeing, remember there is a link in the description below for you to start playing right away. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into the game. Let's get into show number 3. So we don't have a lot of gold coins yet, don't have a lot of game points. We actually spent a lot of that in the last episode to kind of boost up some stats. So for us right now, it's going to be about kind of grinding that money up. Now, we have, I believe, a few feuds that their heat's low, let's say. They're all icy right now. We have Mei versus Leia, who's going to be the first real challenge for her. We have the tag team feud between Banshee and Hydra versus Oishi and Akuda. We have our main event match between Tanaka and Tano. And we have Poison starting to kind of run roughshod around the middle of the card. So that's going to be kind of our focus as we move into our booking. So let's go ahead. Let's book our next show. Got 90 minutes to book. Let's go ahead and start booking the show here. What do we want to do at the start? Well, obviously we have our undercard. I think we need to start an angle. Let's straight do a challenge. Now, I think I was screwing this up last time, as I believe side A is the challenger, side B is the challengee. So I'm going to straight have Mei call out Leia right away. So call that shot out. Here's what's going to happen. We're gonna have we're gonna do like a 10-minute, or maybe an 8-minute call out challenge, back and forth between the two, right? Where Izumi's like, I could best you, and that's going to be a match. Want a fight tonight, and they're going to get it. So Izumi's kind of given that call out here. We'll space our promos out with maybe we haven't had a triple threat yet. We'll do normal. We're not going to do anything crazy. Or should we do something crazy? Should we have a brawl style? Why don't we do our first hardcore match? Just really change it up here a little bit. I think that could be fun. Now, let us go here. Do we have an option to look for brawlers? I don't think we have any brawlers in our company, so that could be an issue. Not the end of the world, but it might suffer from what we're doing here. Let's see. Anybody in the mid-card? Maybe we started off with an opener and a mid-card. So who do we have in our openers? Obviously, Leia and Mei are going to be taken. Have we done anything with Heaven yet? I don't think we have. So that's a good option. Heaven, and then Lotus, I don't think we've done much with. And I don't think we did much with Jitsuko either. Though Jasmine Johnson might not be a bad option. We'll go with Jitsuko for now. So a interesting match. We'll give it to Jitsuko, I think, and see how that does for them. Hardcore match shouldn't be too long. So 16 minutes might be too much. 15 might be right. Let's go a little bit lower. Let's do 13 sounds fine. You don't want to. I don't know how much fatigue that will give a person. But typically, if you're booking in the real world, you want your your hardcore matches go a little bit shorter. It's just much more intensive. A lot more things can go wrong, but also it's so high energy it can burn people out if it goes too long. So we got to keep that in mind. We're gonna book as real as we can. So Jitsuko gets a win here. I want to go back to my feuds just to see if there's something we can add into this, and there is something we can kind of add into this. So we're going to have Jitsuko, who has just won, get beat down by Poison. So again, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's going to be, if I do this, I think the backstage attack, let's say, is, I don't know if it's the person, if side A is the person attacking the person. I think that's the case, in which case we will have Poison, who might be in our main event now. Did she move up already? She did. Poison versus Jitsuko. So Jitsuko's coming back after being a hard ass, and so I think that's the green is the attacker who wins the situation, and the red is the person who is taking the brunt of it. So, we have a situation where Jitsuko just won a big hardcore match, and Poison has been the type of person that's like, I'm the badass here, right? And she does not take kindly to the idea that somebody else is trying to show that they're hard. Only Poison can be hard, and she's going to brutalize her. She's going to brutalize her for like 9 minutes. It's going to be a brutal backstage match where it's just throwing her everywhere, moving her all over the place, throwing her into cars, anything that she could do to really bring that point home and rub salt in the wounds and really just say, you are not the hard one here. You are not the tough one. I'm the one that's the tough one here. And for you to even try to make it about you, we're going to make you pay, right? So that's pretty cool. So I think that's neat. And then what we're going to follow up with is, after that 8 minutes of conflict, we are going to have another backstage attack. A real short one, though. This is sort of kind of gaming the system a little bit, but and this time, her challenger, who is... I forget who it is now. I better take a look. Oh, actually, I think I can look in here through angles. View feuds. Right. Takano. I always forget the names. So Takano now is going to come in for the save. Okay, so she sees what's happening. She couldn't get there in time, but she is actually going to get the upper hand on Poison and make the save. It's going to be a real short moment, because it's just going to be maybe 3 minutes. Because basically she shows up backstage. She defends Jitsuko, attacks Poison with a chair, and seems to be like trying to be the good one and provide some type of defense for the stable here, because Poison has just been running around the entire roster and clearly has been a demon presence. So Takano's kind of taken it upon herself to curb that, right? So that provides a little bit of heat for our next feud, and I think that should work pretty good. So we're 33 minutes in. We still have a bunch of time left. I think now's a good time to carry over that momentum with a tag match. Cool it down a little bit. We're going to go normal. Let's view our teams again. I think let's give our duos a win. I think that's a fun one. Though actually, right, or Hydra and Banshee. I was got confused there for a second. I was like, wait, I thought Hydra and Banshee were duos a winner. So we'll give them a win. Find another team here. Nishimura and Okabe, I think, is fine. We might have done this one already. We don't have a huge roster, but that's fine. We'll have them have a match again. They're going to win. Let's do submission. And it's going to be a longer match because we're going to slow down the pace a little bit. So I'm thinking like a 21-minute match. It's going to be a slower match. It's going to kind of drop that heat a little bit, cool that audience down a little bit. It's also going to take a good cushion out of that total, or a good chunk out of that total time of our roster, because we want to be careful about overusing people, but also, we want to have some people not on the show so that we can rotate them off, because we have to look at fatigue, and we'll have to look at the next episode especially about the fatigue issue of are we over fatiguing our wrestlers, right? Because they do take fatigue through each show, so something we're going to have to keep in mind. It gets us a 54, so we're a little over halfway done our show now, and that gives us a nice cushion. This Banshee does have a feud with Oishi and Okuda, so we could do something with that. Let's do that. Let's add a little angle promo with all four. Banshee, Hydra, and we want Okuda and Oishi, I believe, is the tag team. Yep. Okay. Little 5-minute breakdown, something like that there. Let's make it a little bit longer. Maybe 8 minutes. Because, you know what? We could do full 10, because really, for the most part, it would be these two talking out at them. Though it doesn't seem like it indicates it that way, because it wouldn't necessarily be a challenge. Maybe let's set it as a challenge, actually. So that way, that probably works a little bit better. 2-on-2 challenge. Okuda and Oishi come out, give a challenge out, start saying some words. It'll be a 10-minute segment. Banshee and Hydra don't have to do much because they're already just got done a match, just won it. But Okuda and Oishi are kind of out there and calling their shot and saying, listen, we could take you, right? And provide that a little bit of that conflict to hopefully boost up that feud heat, which is what we want to build, because we're building towards that pay-per-view. So we want to build that heat and that momentum up as much as we can. That's 64 minutes. We have to still do the May and Leia match, and let's go ahead and do that. Book that segment. It'll just be a regular match right now. I think they're going to have a special match at the pay-per-view, maybe like a best of 3 or something like that. So let's throw May in there and Leia. I think we can override title changes, because I kind of want Leia to lose this one. Give May a little bit of, so I can just highlight it on or off right there. We're going to do pinfall. 16-minute match sounds good. May's going to win. Just down to the last 10 minutes of the show. So that's a huge upset. And let us just get a nice main event here. We're going to keep our main eventers, I think, off. Not all of our main eventers, but our typical main eventers off the show for a little bit here. Let's go Ito and just let her have a match with, let's say, Kaita. I don't think we've had a match with Kaita yet. And give Ito a win. So 10 minutes, I think, is the maximum we can actually do without cutting it. So a quick pinfall. Let's do submission. I think is fine. Whoa, that's way too many minutes. Don't go there. All right. That should get us straight at 90. Perfect. So not much story there. Just giving Ito a win. And then keeping our main eventers and who are in a feud just a night off to recuperate a little bit. To kind of have to balance and play that out a little bit there. All right, let's go ahead and see how our scorecard looked. All right, I don't know what just happened. We had a bit of a technical snafu, so we lost a bit of the end of our breakdown of the episode. I don't know what happened with my game capture there, so I apologize. But we can go back and just kind of recap it here. We had, obviously, Mayuzumi and Leia, which we talked about. Then our backstage attack, we had a 30-46 for the tag team match between Hydra and Banshee, Nishimori and Akabe. Okuda and Oishi versus having the call-out challenge angle did underwhelming. The Mayuzumi match and Leia Lament match did better than I thought it would for a opener battle in the co-main event. And our exhibition match for our show with Ito, and Kita is fine. It was about what I expected. Ended up getting us a 40, which is a little underwhelming considering we actually, our first show was a 42, right? So obviously we had a better main event, which helped, but certainly less red. So something we had to keep in mind for my goal here is, I think, for the next pay-per-view to get us at like a 45. If we could achieve a 45, I would consider that a wild success. I don't know if we'll get there, but that's sort of the goal. So I would like to see show 4, let us book it in a way to look at a 42, and maybe for that pay-per-view we can bump it up to a 45 and have a huge success. The other thing we got to worry about now is going to be the fatigue. Because as you see, like Banshee has fatigue, Yogami has fatigue, Hydra has fatigue, May has an immense fatigue. She's basically at half the bar. So we got to be careful because we could burn her out, and then we're going to really lose a lot of potential here with her. Oh, Poison has gained 1,000 followers, which is interesting. Okuda lost 350. He's the only one that actually lost anything. So something to keep in mind that we might have to give her a bit of a win, something to boost her back up, because we don't want them to be losing popularity unless we're expecting to just get rid of them. So our next show is going to be the Go Home show. Should be pretty good. We have to kind of be careful with how we book our pet project with the opener, but I think we can do it without her. And we can kind of work around it a little bit, give her a day to rest until that next pay-per-view. So that's sort of my goal. We'll check it out in the next episode. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you next time.